Hello and welcome to another session of Karen's Colours. I'm Dr. Karen and these are my colour conversations. It's that time of the month again where we look at the colour readings for each birthday for the following month, and we're almost heading towards the end of the year at a great pace. It's coming up to November. So how has your October gone? Did you use your colours? Mine for October were cyan on grey. And yes, I have been using them. And it's interesting that they've actually resolved a dilemma for me. The grey was all about uncertainty, confusion. And what were those about? Well, basically, it was whether or not I would continue to do these sessions. Mainly because they take such a long time to both read and also edit, but also because there hasn't been a great deal of online engagement with them. Nevertheless, the cyan says, wait. And so I did. And out of the blue, so to speak, came a private message from someone who had been invited by a subscriber to have a look and to consider and to give some feedback. I received that feedback on my channel's Gmail account. I'll put a link to that down in the show notes below, in case you would prefer to talk to me privately rather than engage on a public forum. Nevertheless, it was very heartening, and so here I am once again. I hope that you too have been using your colours if you are so inclined, and that perhaps it has made a difference to the way in which you would normally respond to situations in your everyday life. If you have, please let me know, because I'd be interested to find out just how accurate a lot of these readings are. They certainly are exceptionally accurate when someone is choosing their own colours, but these are general readings, and so not everything will resonate for every person, and I'd like to know just how close those resonations might be, if at all. So what are we going to do this time? Well, the oracle I've chosen for this session is the Medicine Woman Oracle. It's primarily feminine, but then so is cyan. And hopefully it will have some messages for you that will be of benefit as we go through the process. September, people. Let's now get a reading for you to see how November 2025 will travel. But first, an oracle card. And we'll pop it under there for the time being. And now I want a colour reading for people born in the month of September to see how their November 2025 is going to travel. People born in the month of September. And we begin the month with pink on black. We move on to grey on black, and then green on green. And the underlying energy is purple on white. Two colours here that are repeated. Firstly, we have black as the driver with which you come into the month, and it continues on through the majority of the month, again as the driver. The other colour of note is green, and green here occurs as the energy with which you leave the month, which occurs both in the top, that is in the action centre, and also in the need or drive from the interior.
We'll come back to that one later because that's a fairly significant one, being the same color top and bottom. So let's have a look at the underlying energy. We have purple on white. Purple and white together, before I look at individual colors, is all about addictive personalities. It has to do with doing the same thing over and over and over again, regardless of the results. There is a famous saying about you shouldn't be constantly doing the same things and then expect different results, because you're not going to get them. And that's what this is all about. Inside the underlying energy, the need or drive is that of a new start, new motivations, new ideas, just some sort of enlightenment. There is a lack here of the ability to see things differently, to develop your curiosity about the world. The world seems to be pretty much the same old, and so this drive to find something new has created a disruption to your plans. In the real world, how this disruption has played itself out is that there has been some sort of catastrophic change. Purple is always destruction before recreation can be made. And while it's a color of healing, you can only heal what was already broken. There's no point in healing the healed. It doesn't work. So here we have a situation where you are required to take a new perspective, a new view on life, because something that was has now been unwas. It has been broken. In the past, coming into the month, there's been pink over black. Black internally always has to do with withdrawal, but it's a need for withdrawal rather than an actual physical doing of so. Mentally, you have gone dark. You may even be feeling a little depressed. Either way, there is a sense of retreating inside yourself to not only get in touch with your own inner self, but also to deal with the fact that you are brooding about something or other. And what are you brooding about? Well, part of the problem is in the real world, you don't have any energy. Pink on black is a lack of the ability to get anything done, to feel as though you are achieving, that you are likable, that you are loved. And even though you're putting out that energy, you're trying very hard to get others to appreciate your skills, appreciate you, internally, your expectations are quite dark. Pink in the real world requires you to make the effort to ask for assistance, but also to be accepting of assistance. And that's very hard to do sometimes, particularly when you're feeling like doom and gloom. Anybody who wants to come and give you a hand about something, you're looking for their ulterior motives. Why? Because you see the dark side of the world rather than the genuine love that comes with people who care about you. If we mix that with the underlying energy, what we have here is pink and purple together. Pink and purple are baby energy and child energy. It's like you're a dissatisfied infant. You want things to be appropriate. You want people to look after you. You want to be able to feel the love from others. But at the same time, you're a naughty kid who keeps destroying things. So when you do get that love, you are inclined to play with it in a destructive way. Will you fix things? Well, maybe, maybe not. It all depends on what's going on underneath. And what is going underneath is black and white. You're swinging from depression to mania. It's like there's two people at opposite poles living inside yourself. You aren't really in control of either of them. 1 minute you're sulking, the next minute you're excited about things. But this sulking and excitement is very difficult for other people to deal with. And when you're acting like a baby and a spoiled brat at the same time, it makes it doubly difficult. Now, we can also have pink over white. And pink over white is justice. It means that you are getting what you deserve, apparently. Whatever it is that you've been doing is now coming home to roost. You're finding that this enlightenment, this feeling of why can't things get better for myself? I'm doing all the right things, comes through in the real world as something arriving for you. Some love is coming your way. Now, if you've been doing the right thing, then that love is certainly going to be positive. If you haven't been doing the right thing by yourself or by the people around you, then you're going to get the retribution that occurs as a result of past actions. On the other hand, we could also have purple on black. Now, when you're feeling like doom and gloom, all you want to do is smash things and get away from it. And that is part of the problem of this justice. How do you get a positive result when what you are doing is potentially quite negative? You need to be very careful about how you approach your thinking and also your actions. You can fix things. That's what the purple says. You can fix things in the real world, but you need to get in touch with not only your dark side, but also your light side. You need to be able to look at those things and say to yourself, all right, which is the way I'm going to go? But the problem here remains with the underlying energy, which is addiction. You keep doing the same things. Are you getting the same results? If so, do something at the beginning of the month to change that trajectory. Because by the middle of the month, things have changed somewhat. Instead of reaching out to others, now there is a great deal of uncertainty. There's still that feeling of doom and gloom and oh, woe is me, and nobody loves me, everybody hates me, thinks I'll go and eat worms. But at the same time, in the real world, there are options available to you. There are different ways of thinking. And that comes from this black and white drive that occurs as a result of the combination of your underlying energy and also the way in which you are viewing the world. Now, together, that black and white thinking creates the grey in the real world. There are options. There is a middle road. There are other ways of doing things, but you need to overcome the uncertainty and the confusion that results from holding two incompatible ideas together at the same time. We're humans. We can do that. We can have two incompatible ideas at the same time, and we can deal with them. That's what makes us human. On the other hand, if we look at how we combine these, grey over white will give us the opportunity to use what enlightenment has come to us to search for the consequences of that enlightenment, because grey is ultimately a little bit of black added to it. So you are enlightened, but you can also see that while this has lots of good opportunities, there are also some drawbacks. On the other hand, we could have purple over black, and purple over black is the same issue that we had here. There is a tendency here to be depressed and so therefore wanting to smash things. You could also have the grey and the purple, which is not much different from the black and purple combination. Only this time it's actually physically doing so. But because it has white in the grey, it means that it's not so much smashing things up, but fixing the things that you have already smashed. So whatever you did back here now gives you the opportunity to do some repair work. Black and white together as the underlying energies, again, repeats what you had here. Being thrown backwards and forwards between a state of I can't do to a state of yes, I can. Then we get to the end of the month, and this is where it becomes really interesting, because green on green is luck. It is sudden change in fortune. There is a drive internally to create new space, and in the real world, the opportunities are there. You can change your heart. You can become someone different. You can do things entirely differently. This gives you the opportunity for a totally new start, a new beginning that will take you somewhere where hopefully it gets you away from all of this black thinking that you've got back here. And indeed, if you look at how the underlying energy works with it, it's likely to do so. Firstly, we can have green and purple together. Opportunities for new starts, the ability to destroy what was in the past and create something new. Green and white, the need for new space, open spaces, new beginnings, and the enlightenment that comes with understanding where they are, being able to see where they come from. Green on white, however, has to do with making a complete and utter change, walking away from what was and starting off in a new direction. That can sometimes be painful because there's a lot of regret here as well. You have to leave behind something that you held fairly precious. And that was as a result of this feeling bad back here. On the other hand, you could also have purple over green, the need to drive yourself to a new direction in the real world, coming through as being able to make those changes, to heal things, to fix things. So whatever you broke back here, now you have the opportunity to repair them. Let's have a look at the colours that are missing to see if we've got something in there of benefit. Right, we have black. We have white. There's no red or yellow, but you do have green. There's no blue or brown or orange. You do have grey, you have purple, you have pink, but there's no cyan. So what we have here are 6 colours that represent skills that you are currently not using. These are the ones that you are using, and altogether, the combination from a distance looks pretty bland, pretty bleak almost. Pink is probably the lightest colour there, but even that doesn't have enough power or energy to create major impingement upon the other colours. On the other hand, here we have the stuff of action. Red is about being in control of your life. Yellow has to do with learning something and being able to digest it. Blue is organizing your life, doing your duty, getting yourself into a state of being able to nurture yourself. Brown has to do with ambitions and goals and practical skills. Orange is survival in the face of crisis, and cyan is being able to find that bliss, that contentment, that satisfaction that comes with everything that you have done has now come to fruition in a positive way. So which of those is the most appealing and which is the least appealing colour? If you include those into your repertoire over the next month, you'll find that when this luck, this change of fortune occurs, you'll be able to jump on it and head somewhere else that doesn't bring you back into using these same old ways of doing things that seems to be inherent in this underlying energy of the addictive behavior that makes you fail at stuff because you're always doing the same thing and always expecting different results when that is an impossibility. So let's now look at what the underlying oracle has to say. The circle of life. Well, you can't ask for anything better. This is the circle of life. Things change, they grow, they become different, they decay, they die, they come back again as something new. I give you my blessing to accomplish your quest. Whatever it is that you're searching for, whatever you want, you can obtain it, but only if you accept that the circle of life prevents us from ever stagnating. Wow. Well, some of that was pretty intense, wasn't it? I hope you're finding something useful out of these colour readings. And if you're watching them and don't really want to comment online on the open forum, feel free to send me a message through the Gmail account that's attached to this channel. I'll be more than happy to interact with you. In the meantime, may the colours of your life bring you joy and happiness and all of the things that you desire. We're coming up to Christmas soon. That'll be the next time. See you.